Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Road to Happy Destiny, RTHD. I am the Bear, Coach Bear, with Dan the Man, my cameraman and producer slash roommate as well. And welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of the program. We're coming to you from Casa 15 Hundo in Metairie, Louisiana, on the edge of Bucktown, baby. In the 504. Who dat, baby? Draft night tonight. First round draft. Go Saints. Who dat? Pick a winner here. Let's go get them. And got to be excited about that for all you sports fans because there's not a whole lot of sports going on during this pandemic, as we all know. So let's go ahead and get started with today's show. Right before we begin, though, I have to mention this. Yesterday afternoon, I had the opportunity to pick up my brand new kitty that I adopted and bring her home. She is absolutely totes adorbs. Her name is Precious. You might say, Precious? Where have I heard that before? How about this? Did anybody see Silence of the Lambs? What was the dog's name in Silence of the Lambs? Something like this. Precious! Precious! Leave my dog alone! That was my best attempt at Buffalo Bill. Sorry about that. But anyway, very excited. I put a picture of us up last night. And thank you all for liking it. Got a lot of likes, and I appreciate that. Now, let's start the show with our prayer for today. I pray that I may be the best version of me today, and that I may truly value another day of life. So these are two areas that I have mentioned quite a bit throughout these episodes that I'm working on, that I may be the best version of me, as well as that I truly appreciate every single day and see the value of being alive. It was not long ago, and throughout the course of the last 3 years, where there were times where that was not my feeling quite necessarily, that I was valuing another day of life. So today I am, and I'm happy for that, and it's certainly on my gratitude list every day. A couple of thoughts coming to you today that I pulled off the internet. Don't fret, we do have a thought from my cousin Jeb, so don't worry. We're not going to leave that out. A couple of thoughts here. Don't base your decisions on the advice of those who don't have to deal with the results. I like that. Don't base your decisions on the advice of people that aren't going to have to deal with, when you make the decision, what you may have to deal with. All right. Beautiful things happen when you distance yourself from negativity. Man, we talk about being positive, or I talk about being positive all the time. Try to be upbeat, try to be enthusiastic, and looking at things with the glass half full versus the glass half empty, and being positive really puts a new spin on your entire attitude, which is going to drive us throughout the course of a day. So think about those two thoughts, and then a thought from cousin Jeb. He sent two, but I'm only going to do one today. You prove your worth with your actions, not with your mouth. So, what is one of the things we're doing right now in Season 2? We're jumping into action. So I thought that was very fitting. You prove who you are, your character, your worth, your salt, whatever the case may be. I'll speak for me, by my actions, okay? So I am trying right now to live one day at a time, to go with a routine while during this pandemic, while we're in this coronavirus COVID-19 situation that we are all in. And that is helping me to improve my actions and not just talk about it. And again, I've said before in these episodes, I used to talk about doing this video series for a long time and never put it into action. So now hopefully I'm proving that some of the things I'm going to say, I'm going to back up. And thank you all for joining us every day. And remember, always please try and hit that like button and the share if you're seeing it on Facebook. And if you're whether you watch it on Facebook or not, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay? Now, today, our into action, remember, we're doing it a little bit differently than we did for episode 1 and episode 2. Beginning yesterday, we took our 3 categories that I'll change up every day with the exception of our gratitude category. And instead of writing down 3 things for each, we'll write down 1 for each. And while you write down, I'll go through my list with you, so that may give you some examples, or at least you can see if I'm what I'm putting down that I want to get into action with. Okay? So I think you ought to have a notebook. So grab your into action notebook and your favorite writing utensil. And here we go. I'm going to stand now, Dan the man. Thank you so much. All right. So our 3 categories today for into action. 1, gratitude. We'll keep with that every day. 2, we're going to call emotional stability. Emotional stability. And 3, self-pity. Self-pity. So we got 1 real positive. The other 2 we're going to change from a negative into a positive. So we're going to still make this into action a positive scenario. All right? So you want to write down 1 item for each, and if you need me to explain category 2 and category 3, I'm going to do that in just a few shakes of a lamb's tail. All right, let's start with gratitude. On my gratitude list today, I have simply my daughter and my son. Yesterday, my daughter, who is graduating from LSU in a couple of weeks, not having a ceremony, but still graduating from LSU, she went to Baton Rouge yesterday and took all sorts of pictures in her cap and gown, and she sent 4 of those to me, and I put those up on Facebook. I shared her post and got a tremendous amount of likes. But I'm just grateful for my daughter. She's always been in my corner, and I'm just grateful to be able to have the opportunity to watch her grow as a young woman. You know, so I'm very, very grateful for that. Grateful for my son, and he has been in my corner as well all this time. He's only a freshman in college, and he's a little tiny kid. He's a little small for his age. Just kidding about that. I'm going to put a picture of him in Precious on YouTube, on Facebook tonight. You'll see he's huge, and you saw him the night he was with me on the show. He stood up and he's like here. But I'm just real proud of him. Very grateful for him. He keeps me laughing all the time, and he's just a blast to be around. So my kids are my gratitude today, just because I saw them both yesterday and got the opportunity to see those pictures last night. And my son came with me to pick up our brand new little peanut kitty, Precious. All right, emotional stability. Emotional stability affects everybody, okay? My emotional stability, how I am feeling about where I am at that particular moment, okay, is going to affect the people that I come into contact with. So it doesn't just affect me, it affects other people that are around me or I come into contact with, okay? So, you know, it really is about a person's balance, right? Being stable, being balanced, all right? So for my emotional stability, I have a tendency to, as I've mentioned before, put on a mask and say, hey, everything's great, everything's great. And it's not always the case. And I'm not a big fan of confrontation. And sometimes I need to talk about things with people, and I stuff it in. And I wanted to have a discussion with my roommate, my cameraman, Dan the Man, and we had a good conversation this morning where I was glad to be able to express my thoughts. He expressed his thoughts to me. It was a healthy conversation, and I can't tell you how much more emotionally stable I felt after that conversation. So that was my goal for the day with my emotional stability, and I tell you what, I did the same thing with my friend Ray yesterday, and I felt great. I'm telling you, whether it's uncomfortable for me or not, that's a practice I need to continue. All right, and 3 was self-pity. And I have been in self-pity a lot over the last 3 years. And this is something that caused me resentments. And we talked about resentments in our list the other day, might have been yesterday. And the self-pity aspect is basically looking at the glass half empty. It really is. When I know in my glass, if I look at my glass half full, I have plenty to be grateful about, plenty to feel good about, and there's really no reason for me to have any self-pity. There are a lot of people in this world that have problems that are worse than mine. And I need to, instead of worrying about my problems, address them, not stuff them, address them, work on them, but realize that all the good that I have should make me want to, give me drive to work at that even harder. So there's your into action for today. Now, before we wrap this baby up today, I do want to talk a little bit about our second category, emotional stability. All right, I want to read to you this, and I know people aren't a fan of me reading things, but I can't memorize all this prior to the show. Emotional stability refers to a person's ability to remain balanced. We said that a few moments ago. There are 8 practices that one can use to get this emotional balance. 1, change your perspective, your point of view. Okay? Perspective is, everything. It really is. Your point of view, how you view things. Okay? And how you're looking at it. Are you looking at it glass half full? Are you looking at it glass half empty? 2, you're in control. Your emotions don't have to be the master of your emotional stability. They really don't. Because when we get angry and we let our emotions control, we know that we get emotionally unstable. If that doesn't apply to you, it applies to me. 3, stay grounded. Don't allow others to sway you. Okay? You have some thoughts and opinions. You have some ideas of where you are going. Don't let other people sway you. For example, I'll use for me for this show. I don't know how many people are still watching it. I know this. I put up a picture last night of me and my brand new kitty Precious, and it got over 200 likes. And, at the end of the day, when I look at how many people liked the show on Facebook, it's about 25 or somewhere in that neighborhood. So, but you know what? I'm not going to let that sway me. I want to do this. I am loving doing this. And I'm going to continue. 4, don't suppress. Learn to listen to your emotions. I wanted to have a conversation with my roommate / cameraman / producer, Dan the Man, yesterday. I suppressed it and waited till today. The first thing he said is, why didn't you talk to me about this yesterday? And he's right. Absolutely. I didn't follow that. That made me less stable than I wanted to be, emotionally. All right? 5, be positive. And if you're not a positive person, just watch this show over and over and over again. I'll get you positive. I'll get you all jacked up. You heard me? Because we rolling, baby. And we riding? Well, I'm with you, homie. I had to do it. Breathe. Man, just breathe. It's amazing what deep breaths can do to just kind of bring you down and bring you into balance. Breathe. Breathe. 7, take care of you. Take care of yourself. However that is. Physically, spiritually, mentally, whatever the case may be, to make you emotionally stable. And we're running out of time, so 8, get back up. If you fall, get back up. Man, if I didn't get back up after the last 3 years, I would still be on the ground. Or I wouldn't be here any longer. So we got to all work to get back up and keep moving forward and in a positive direction when we want to work on our emotional stability. All right. Final thoughts. When people talk, listen completely. Most people never listen. That's just a final thought for the day. And I am guilty of that as well. So I'm going to work on that. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to end with the Serenity Prayer. I'm just going to do the first portion. We'll do the we version this afternoon. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Man, I had a great time today. It's time to go get precious and do some kitty games on the floor. So have a great day and peace. Who dat?